What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I got to hang out with the amazing Nick. I cannot pronounce his last name, but he was born without legs and one arm. When we talk about amazing, this kid is, and this man, I'm sorry, he is beyond amazing, and he's now my new friend. Corona, and not do an intro. But check out this awesome interview with Nick and me. Amazing. After this quick intro, guys. All right, hey guys, welcome to our dance. It's me, Val Lawrence, and I have my new friend Nick on with us, and you're my friend because I just said you're my friend. But I told you a minute ago, I'm such a huge fan. I think that you're so brave and you have such a good energy that you give out to the world, and you show that nothing is impossible. And I think we all need to see that. So can you tell us a little bit about the condition that you were born with? I tried to pronounce it, but it was wrong. So
yeah, no worries. Yeah, so happy to be here. Thanks for having me. The background behind me is in 1996, my mom went in for a late ultrasound, and they brought the baby up on the screen, and the doctors started looking at each other with puzzled faces. Mm-hmm. And my parents were like, "What's going on?" And they said, "Well, from the looks of it, it doesn't look like your baby's limbs are being developed. It looks like he's missing his legs, his arm, his face might be messed up." And they painted a pretty grim picture of what I would look like to my parents. And what they did was classified me with hand-heart syndrome. Mm-hmm. And hand-heart syndrome is a super rare genetic disorder that either leaves the babies with undeveloped limbs or undeveloped organs. And so at the time of my birth, in 1996, I was the 12th baby in medical history that they've ever seen this happen to. And out of the 12, 8 of those babies have passed away due to undeveloped organs. And so the babies can't breathe on their own, they can't eat on their own, and they later on pass away. And so, after being born, the doctors took me away and did tests on my organs, and my organs came back 100% healthy, and the only thing that was affected were my limbs. And so I was born with no legs, a short arm, another arm with one finger, no legs, and a walking unicorn. So happy to be here.
Yeah, you're amazing. So one thing I really like that you say is everyone else is actually the same and you're different. Is that how you word it?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. So I have a quote on my bicep. It says, "You laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at you because you're all the same." And I always say that's not a quote of Nick making fun of people with limbs, but that's saying that so many people are trying to fit into a certain group. They're trying to put on a mask to be someone else, when the most attractive thing, sexiest thing, most successful thing you could be is your authentic self. Mm-hmm. And when you show up your authentic self and you really fall in love with your authentic self, that's when you're in your true essence. That's when you can really just be in your own element and put off your most natural energy. And whether that's in your family, right? Being authentic with your kids, being authentic with your spouse, transparent. I mean, that's a massive power move. And then when you bring it into business, when you show up authentic and transparent to your clients, your customers, your team, people feel that, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and human beings just want to know you care, and human beings just want to be treated like human beings, right? And so everyone's looking for some secret sauce to life. And how about we start off by being a genuine, authentic human being?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I know after we were featured on Born Different, I was like, well, I want to get out there and be a keynote speaker and this and that. And like you, I have lots of tattoos. I'm very different. I got a little swag in my step. It's not the same as everybody else's. But, they were like, Val, you'll probably need to wear this type of clothes. And then I'm like, that's not really Val. So
I got that too. It's funny you said that, because at first, my mom was like, just like keep your top like by your shoulder, like just do your shoulder, don't go down to your wrist. And I was like, nah. I was like, I'll do my wrist. And then, well, because at first it's like an evolution. When I was in school, like I'll go back a little bit. When I was in school, they were like, you need a communication major to become a public speaker. And so they're already telling me that I need to become a communication major. And I was like, nope, I'm good. Like, don't need that. Right. And then the next thing was, well, if you have too many tattoos, like you're not going to be able to be in the public a lot. And I'm like, nah. And then like I got my full sleeve, and then I got my whole chest, and they were like, and then I was like, I'm still a public speaker. Right. Like I go to China and I'll just wear long sleeves. and I'm very covered up. Like I have like a turtleneck or something, and that's just respect to the culture. And so like I don't have to necessarily conform to what you think I need. I'll just show up and present myself differently. Like it's kind of an advantage. If I go into a high school, my tattoos are showing because it instantly builds like, oh, that's dope. He's cool. I'm going to listen to him. Like it's strategic. And then if I go to China, I'll be all like no tattoos and I'm way more, I guess, professional for their culture. Right. So like you do your own thing. And that goes down to like being your authentic self. Like tattoos are a way you represent yourself. And especially in this generation, the time we live in, it's way acceptable. And so
I just feel like it's relatable. And like you said, when I was young and I was in school, having cerebral palsy wasn't cool. You know, it was like, and you're very transparent, you know, dating and stuff. It was tough. It was definitely tough. But when you walk into a high school now, well, I make CP look cool. I got tattoos. I'm cool. So the kids can relate, you know, and it's so good to bring awareness to things. And you mentioned a lot the what am I saying? The suicide rate keeps going up and up, and it's because of things like this. You feel less than, you don't feel empowered. What do you tell people that may be feeling, you know, on that level at some time?
Yeah, I have it in the intro of one of my songs. It says comparison is the thief of joy. And what that means is a lot of people are living in this comparison game, especially with social media. So, you know, you're in your journey of life and you're chipping away at your goals or your ambitions, and then you go on social media and you see someone on a yacht or you see someone on a private jet or you see a relationship and you're like, well, why isn't my life like that? And you start comparing your life based on their high moments, which Instagram is mostly BS, and it's just everybody's glorious moments. And that's one of the things that I pride myself on is like, I'll come on social media and I'll talk about things that no one will talk about, like deep, dark stories of my life, because I know that it's valuable. It'll connect with people and people feel my authenticity. And so what I would tell people is really define your version of success. And what that means is like there's been moments when someone else's version of success or definition of success has kind of painted some strokes on my painting of what success is. And I don't, then you're like, you kind of veer off and you're not with alignment in who you are. And so I would self-reflect on like, what is your definition of success? Is that, do you want the private jet? Do you want the cars? Like, that's okay. If that's what you want, like pursue it. Or is your version of success like having the 9-to-5 and you have the white picket fence and a dog and a kid and that's what you want? Then pursue that. But make sure you're crystal clear on what you truly want and what success is to you. And then I would say try not to, it sounds so easy, right? But try not to compare yourself to other success and realize that the people that you look up to, first, not all of them are as successful as what you think. And then second, those people that are truly successful, you're only seeing the highlights. You're not seeing the trials and tribulations, the failures, all the time that they got ridiculed, we're told no. It's a journey. And so if you can appreciate and be grateful for where you are now and self-reflect and celebrate the little wins and look back and see how far you come, that's massively empowering, because it's easy to feel like a loser when you don't keep score.
Yeah, and
humans don't keep score.
No, we don't. And our victories, like when somebody asks you, well, what's victory to you, or what's success? Sometimes we think success, like you said, is a yacht, is a boat, or whatever. But success could be, in my situation, putting on my shoes in 10 minutes. That's success. That I did it.
Yeah, you'd celebrate wins differently. Exactly.
Right. So a small win only brings bigger wins, is the way I look at it. So one other question I wanted to ask you, you highlight a lot on mindset. Your disability is only based off of your mindset. So can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think my life changed once I changed the story of how I viewed my body. That was massively important for me. And so I'm 24 years old. For the majority of my life, I hated my body. I hated my no legs and one arm. I thought it was the most disgusting thing about me, the biggest curse life could give me. And that my story around it was, Nick, you're just a kid with no legs and one arm. You'll never have a real job. You'll never be financially independent. You'll never have a good relationship, a girlfriend. Like, that was the story that I constantly played over and over again in my head. And it wasn't until my mindset shifted or I viewed things differently when maybe a buddy of mine influenced me to think this way, but it was realizing that, like, well, if a girl doesn't want to further a connection with me with my body, or if someone doesn't want to do business with me, or someone's going to judge me for my body, well, that's immediately working for me because it's filtering out the type of people that I really don't want in my life anyway. It's actually cutting through the BS.
Yeah.
Like our bodies, whether they're different, whatever it may be, cut through the BS of people who don't love you for you or don't want to do business for who you actually are. And that was empowering for me to switch my story around my body, because my whole life, I thought, like I said, I thought this was the most disgusting thing. And then I realized that it helps people. And then I realized that, just me living my life, me just putting a smile on my face can help someone during a day because maybe they look at me differently. But the biggest disability is a bad mindset because it comes down to your conditioning and your programming. Whether you think, your situations hold you back and you can't do things, or you go out and try things. It's just like these little distinctions. I'm sure that you, in your situation as well, have found ways to, celebrate it. It's ways to connect with people. It's ways to break through the BS. Your friends or your family, you have probably a close set of people around you that really love you for you. And your body has helped you filter out the BS. It's one of the greatest gifts.
It definitely is. I agree. A lot of times, and then when you become close with somebody, they kind of forget the whole situation anyways. For example, my friend, this is years ago, she was over with her son, and he went to do something, baby. She's like, grab him. I'm like, what? She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
Let me get my crutches to grab your son. It's going to take a while. So I think that when somebody starts to love you for you, they love you. And then, and that's just the way it is. And so, like, one thing, so you became viral from your zombie Walmart experience. And then, so for those of us that don't know about it, can you tell us a little bit about your...
Yeah, when I was a senior in high school, I came up with the brilliant idea to dress myself up as a legless zombie because no one was doing it. And the method behind my madness was I knew what it felt like to be uncomfortable. I knew what it felt like to be suicidal, depressed, things all human beings feel.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to create a way where someone can look on the phone and say, wow, like, look at Nick living his best life, or look how comfortable Nick is in a situation. Look at Nick making the best of a situation. Maybe I can make the best of mine. And so I filmed. I went into Walmart and I scared this guy. I came around the corner going, Rah! And I had fake blood on my face. And I filmed the video, and it was 6 seconds. And I posted that video, and it went internationally viral. And led me to doing more things online that were funny, which gained me 1 million followers on Vine, and led me to scaring Norman Reedus, the main actor of The Walking Dead, in Tokyo, Japan. And it was just a way to get myself out get myself out in front of everyone. And I think wrestling gave me enough confidence to put myself out on the internet, because the internet could be a very nasty place. And I learned that very quickly once my videos, popped off. And Vine, the majority of the viewers are kids. But that was my strategic way of put myself on the map, put myself out on the map, bigger, by doing something that's never been done before.
Yeah, and one thing you also say a lot is, if you're not growing, then you're dying. And I feel like, and this is my perspective, when you told your audience, I'm no longer going to do pranks, because you were ready to grow. You were ready to get out there and help people, and more of a serious, but still you got your swag, you got your cool side, but hey, this is life, you guys. And you're very open to saying, I haven't always been an Energizer buddy. I'm not like this every day. I have my hard times. Can you tell us a little bit about how you transferred, from being the jokester, prankster to really helping people in this world? Yeah.
It came down to two things. The first thing was that pranking wasn't fulfilling me anymore. It wasn't fulfilling me like I thought it would. Like my soul was like, no, there's bigger and better. There's more value that you can bring. It was something in me. And then second, people were correlating me as just like a joke, right? Which is understandable as a prankster. Well, I was like, running around doing jokes and stuff. And so I wanted to be taken more serious, more professional and stuff. And that's when I analyzed the fitness industry. And I analyzed the fitness industry. And that was only after, the reason why I pivoted was because I moved to LA to be a core cast member of an Impractical Joker show. And it was either that or going to college. And of course, Nick picked the pranking show. And so I moved out to LA with a roommate. And 2 weeks after I signed the lease, they canceled the show. It never even happened. And so I'm stuck in LA with this lease and no money, and it put me in a slump. And to add to it, my roommate never got a job. He never paid me rent, and the place was in my name. And so my dad always stressed the importance of credit. And so, I spent most of my money just on rent and tried to like not buy much food. I didn't really feed myself much. And I refused to tell my parents I was broke. I went through that. And then I moved back and I pivoted and I looked at the fitness industry and I said, well, I've always wanted to be in shape. I don't know if I can do it. If I become a bodybuilder, there's not many guys with no legs that want to bodybuilding. And then third, they can't underplay me. They can't underplay me by saying, well, Nick, it's easy for you to become a bodybuilder. You have no legs and one arm, right? Said no one ever. And so they couldn't take that away from me. And I knew that I'd be able to monetize it. And while all that was going down, it was another way for me to fall deeper in love with myself. Because awesome. I may not be able to change my no legs, one arm, but I could have a six-pack. And that would make me feel a little bit better. And I'm investing in my body. I'm investing in my temple. And so that was my pivot from pranking to bodybuilding. And then bodybuilding led me to speaking is because I moved to Tampa for bodybuilding. And when I moved to Tampa, someone that had seen me at an event, just like a passive event, came up to me and was like, hey, I'm from here. I'm having a little mastermind going on. I would love for you to come to my house. It's only about like 8 to 10 entrepreneurs. You'll never know who you meet. You don't know the resources. Just come and hang out. And so I went to this mastermind, and the first meeting I was kind of just like chilling. I was shy. I was just kind of listening to everyone else's stories. And then I came back, another day, and this Russian kid was like, hey, what's your story? And I'm like, you got a long time? I got a long story, right? And so I shared my story, and the first thing that came out of his mouth was, you're going to be on stage with Tony Robbins one day.
Oh, amazing.
And I said, who's Tony Robbins? I was like, I don't know who Tony Robbins was. I'm a 21-year-old kid. Right. And he was like, I don't know. I feel compelled to help you to get your story out in front of more people. I'll work for you for free. Maybe one day we'll start a company if you like our work together. And just nonchalant. And fast forward, 3.5 years later, he's in the room downstairs in the house because he lives with me, and he's my brother and my best friend, and I'm with my team, and I'm on tour with Tony Robbins. And but the lesson behind that is, sometimes it takes someone from the outside to see a gift in you that you haven't seen in yourself. And that was speaking for me. That was the ability to storytell, to facilitate. It was a gift that I had, but I didn't tap into it yet. And so like this, what you see now is a product of 3 years of literally like throwing myself out on stage and not knowing what I'm doing and becoming a master of my craft. Like I had no idea how to speak. I had no idea how to create a speaking company, know how to do it, to be a CEO, build a team. But it was like me throwing myself in waters and like all my guys just leveling up, just 3 years of nonstop. Like this COVID-19 stuff has been the first time we've stopped traveling in like 3.5 years.
Wow.
Just because we were learning. I had no idea what we were doing.
So how is this affecting your career now? Are you still being able to do things virtually, or?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so our company is solely based off live events, and we were at a point in the company where we were moving so fast that we didn't have the opportunity to focus on like products. We didn't have the opportunity to focus on digital, sales, marketing, sales funnels, all this stuff. And so this pandemic has actually given us the time to slow down and like add to the foundation of this massive empire, because we were building so fast, but we weren't putting the right pieces in the foundation, such as, the marketing and sales and all the nitty gritty stuff of business. And so we've been pivoting to virtual events, like doing a lot of podcasts, spreading awareness there. Right now I have Junior Victorious, which is my kid program where every week I send out a video lesson to your kid. And then we have my Victorious Inner Circle, which is like my mastermind. And so basically right now, I've been doing something called the Victorious Challenge, where I'll push people into a Facebook group, and then it'll start on a Monday, and from Monday to Wednesday, I'll coach you live on Zoom together, like one-on-one. It'll be multiple people, and take you through my habits and rituals that have really sculpted me into the person I am, and then I take them through tools to discover their why, to discover some of the biggest driving forces in their life. I'll give them massive value for 3 days. And then those who want to take the connection further, they'll go into my mastermind. But basically, this giving us a time to plug in the holes that were letting water in the boat because we were moving too fast traveling. So it's been a great gift.
That is awesome. Yeah, it really makes you appreciate things too. You're like, whoa, let me just slow down and get more into detail and just appreciate everyone around me. So
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's brought so much. I'm not underlying the seriousness of the situation, but I think it's been a time for humans to slow down, be more present with their kids, more present with their relationships, their family. Gives them time to really have some stillness. There's so much stimulation going on in the world that we really don't give ourselves time to be still without our phones, without the computers, just like, one within ourselves. And I would highly suggest all the viewers out there to schedule 10, 20 minutes of stillness in the morning where you're not touching your phone. Like, don't touch your phone in the morning for the first 10 to 20 minutes. I know it's extremely difficult, but you're going to see a phone call, a text message, an email that's going to trigger you, and it's going to set you off. So why don't you give yourself the gift of being a human being for the first 10 to 20 minutes and sitting in some stillness?
Yeah, I agree. It forces you. We have no choice. And I think a lot of us are already homebodies, but I am. But you telling me I can't leave, I'm like, what do you mean I can't leave? Really? I can't? You can't tell me what to do. So that's what makes it a little bit more frustrating. But yeah, one thing you also talk about a lot, and I look up to you. You're younger than me by a lot, but that's okay. So I look up to you, and I remember watching your video. And like I said, when you met The Rock, that's my husband's favorite person. Actually, I opened up a Facebook page or whatever for my business, and people make fake pages. So it was The Rock. I think they made like several fake pages of The Rock, and I told my husband, dude is trying to be my friend. It has to be a lot. He's like, that is not real. I'm like, it seems to be real. So,
I love that.
Yeah. So when you, like I said, when you said that you're like willing to talk to me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But one thing that you talk about is gratitude, and being as big as you are and popular and followings and things like that, you still fall back on gratitude. So can you tell us a little bit more of what that means to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's two things that will always ground us and bring us home. And home as in like push the ego aside and just love yourself for where you are is perspective and gratitude. And the reason why gratitude is so important is because it's emotionally impossible for you to feel grateful and sad or grateful and angry or grateful and stressed at the same time. Gratitude outweighs all the negative emotions, and it comes down to the quality of your life. You can have millions of dollars and you're always pissed off and angry. Your quality of life is going to be pissed off and angry. And you can have, not so much money, but you're always grateful and appreciative and you don't expect things. Then you have a better quality of life. It really comes down to the way you view the world. And so I think gratitude is a superpower, but it's also a muscle. It's also a muscle, and the reason I say that is because I put people through gratitude exercises all over the world, and I pick up on patterns, right? Because I do it all the time, and some people cry and they really get into it. Some people laugh, some people smile, and then some people are like, man, it was really hard for me to feel. And the reason why it was hard for them to feel is because you haven't cracked open your heart enough. And that's okay. That's not me coming at you. That's just saying that we need to exercise the muscle of gratitude a little bit more. And going to moments we're grateful for, going to moments we're proud of, so you can feel more of that emotion. Because every single human being wants to be happier. They want to be happier, more grateful, more fulfilled. And so if you can find the very things to focus on that make you feel that emotion, you'll have a better quality of life. And so focus on the things that you're grateful for. Focus on the things you're appreciative of. And also, oftentimes now more than ever, humans just expect. We expect things. We expect results. We expect money. We expect the shower to be warm when we turn it on. Like down to the nitty gritty, we expect everything. And Tony has a quote: "When you drop your expectations for appreciations, your life will change in that moment." If we can start appreciating more rather than expecting, then you have a better quality of life. And I created a little saying, and it's called "Switch your have tos to your get tos." And your life will change in that moment. Oftentimes, humans say, I have to go to the store, I have to go to the bank, I have to build a business, I have to take the kids to the school. No, you get to. These are all privileges. These are all privileges, things you take for granted. Because talking about perspective and gratitude, even me, a man with no legs and one arm, know that there's millions of kids and adults that would switch places with me because they just don't have it like I do. As in the body. As in they're paralyzed. As in they're stuck in hospital beds and they look outside and they see the birds and they say, man, maybe one day I'll be able to go outside. Like, who am I to complain? So if we can all have that, if you're up for adopting that mentality that, especially our problems become gifts once we learn from them. But if you put your problems on a table with a bunch of other people's problems, then you probably take your problems back and keep walking.
Yeah, no, that makes such sense. And it's true. We always, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. And when you put it in that perspective, even me to get around, I use crutches or a scooter. I'm annoyed about having to do something, but there's somebody next to me that doesn't get that opportunity. So it's huge. One thing I always say, and this is the way I feel. I feel like life is a dance, and that's why I came with our dance. So for many years, I too allowed my CP to lead my dance. There's always somebody that leads the dance, and CP led me into darkness, self-doubting, just a bad circle. Just I had two. CP has two left feet, so we just kept walking in circles. Once I no longer allowed CP to control the dance and lead me, then I got rid of my left feet and I was in control. And so that's kind of how I look at it. I mean, we all have two left feet in some part of our dance, and a lot of people, oh well, it's my life, I live my life, but you're letting those other people actually control your life.
Yeah.
With problems. So I think that's amazing.
Can I touch on your Life's a Dance?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful that because language is power. Language is power. The words we use, certain words you use make you feel a different emotion, and so that's just as such as someone that views life as a dance. If someone said life is a dance, how does that describe life? It's fun, right? It's flowy. You're freestyling. You're doing whatever you do, and then there could be someone that says, life's a battle. Different emotion, right?
Right.
You feel differently about it.
Yeah.
And so those of you that are listening right now have you been looking at life as a battle or life as a dance? Well, it comes down to the story that you tell yourself. Yep. And those small little tweaks, make you feel different emotion. You felt the energy when I said life's a battle. It lowered.
Yeah, when you think about battle, you think about struggle. You think about every day trying to fight.
Fighting.
Yeah, it's just an ugly word.
Yeah.
And you and I both could have been a statistic. We could have laid in our beds, been medicated. And the sad thing is society would say, well, look at their situation.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
It's okay. She's a mom, but she can't walk. He's a guy who has one arm, no legs. Just let him take the medication to make him feel better. But there's something in people like us that are resilient. And it's not, I know I'm a little firecracker, and you're not going to keep me on the medication, in the bed, not happening. So as a mother, I'm like that with my kids too. Oh, Mom, I can't do that. If I did it, you're about to get up, go handle your business, and get it done. So, and you've mentioned before that kids are a little bit soft, and I agree. Kids maybe nowadays it's a little more sheltered in some places, but no, get up and handle it.
I think it's. Listen, parents, like, this isn't even coming out. Parents have good intent. Most of your parents have good intent, and they're just working with what they got. They're just working with what they got, and what I mean in that is with their knowledge. Like a lot of people don't have personal development. A lot of people don't know that their thoughts become things. Like, it's not like it's a very small percentage of the world that really knows how powerful this thing is. And so your parents may be just doing the best with what they got. But the more that we can embrace failure, the more that we can get comfortable with uncomfortable situations, the better off you will be in life, because life is not easy. Life is not easy for a normal body. Life is not easy for someone that has a unique disability, whatever you want to call it. Like, life's not easy. And so if someone is brought up and given everything, if someone is, your parents dressed you for the first 10, 15 years and did everything for you, you're going to have a different outlook when you get put on your butt. You're going to run from it. You are going to be scared of it, rather than the kid who, had to take care of his mom because she was she was bedridden her whole life. Like, who knows? Like, that kid has a totally different perspective on life. And so that's not, you don't have to blame yourself for your upbringing, but realize that your past doesn't define you. How you show up now does. How you show up in this very moment. Like, you can change, and you're not broken. None of you are broken. You just need a little bit evolving. We're all evolving. We're all growing.
Yep, I agree. And there is ways to not become a product of your environment. You have to step outside, and it's not always an easy thing. And the world is not always going to be adaptive for disabled, but the world's not going to stop turning. And it's not going to stop turning for somebody who doesn't want to. You just got to get it. You got to get out there, and you got to get it. But this has been awesome, and I'm so excited that I had the opportunity to meet you. Can you tell everybody who doesn't know, I don't know how they don't know you, But just in case they don't, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok at Nick Santonastasso. And I understand that's a very long last name. So if you type in Nick space Santo, I'm the guy with no legs and one arm and a bunch of tattoos. And there's not many of those running around the world.
And that is awesome. So yeah, and you guys, thank you so much for watching this. You're so inspiring, motivational, and relatable. And I think that's what's important. You know, you don't have to, it's funny when people actually say, "Val, you're such an inspiration." I'm like, tell my husband, because there's no different treatment around here. They don't treat me like I'm an inspiration. So it's just, you're human, you're relatable, and I think it's awesome. And I truly appreciate this. And also, you guys, as always, you can find me on our nonprofit website, Thriving with CP. We really want to reach out to the community, help everybody as much as we can. And then I have a YouTube channel as well. So Valerie Lawrence with CP. And I'm excited to talk to anybody. If you guys ever want coaching, that's what I do. I'm a life coach. So I help people live their best life and get out of their own way.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. So it's been a pleasure. And I thank you again. Thank you, everyone, so much.